Hello. Welcome to Finsweet Live. We are building today with a live build of Apple Podcasts landing page. So I'm sharing this link here in the chat. This is apple.com/apple-podcasts. And we're just going to build this. We'll go through that in a little bit. But first, let's do a couple of time-sensitive announcements and say hello to the crowd, and then we get started. First announcement, tomorrow, Speed Build Challenge Round 2. That is tomorrow, Wednesday, October 12th, 1 p.m. Eastern. This is a Speed Build Challenge hosted by Webflow. It is a super fun event. Nelson hosts it, and we have our own Rohan from Finsweet who is competing in this. So we'll be there cheering him on. Please go to this Speed Build Challenge and see these great designers and developers compete. Next competition. We're all about the competitions now. Reloom Design League. Last Thursday, we competed. Sergey represented the Finsweet team, and he absolutely rocked it. You got to check out that YouTube video. The next match is this Thursday. That's October 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then Sergey will be moving on to the finals. Super excited for that. Thursday, October 27th, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're interested in this, go to the Reloom YouTube channel and go ahead and get notified about those videos, subscribe. This is a really cool thing they're doing, and really happy that Finsweet is competing. So those are the announcements. We're done with those. Excellent. Now let's say hello to some people. Just a few. Let's get the first people who came in here. Hello, Robert. What's up? How you doing? Daniel. Hello. Great. We have Walker. Hey, Walker. How's it going? Looking forward to this live build. Me too. Mike, good morning. Love these build days. They take P1 on my schedule. Nice, Mike. Love that. Thank you. Tonette, greetings from Atlanta. Great. Sean Duval. Hey. How you doing, Sean? Great to see you. Dale, nice. Okay, and that's it. Andre, hello. Webflow has been painfully slow and non-existent in the UK today. Yes, having some problems. I did some initial tests, and I think I have a project that is working well. So let's hope that all of that goes well and we can go through this whole project. Okay, that's it with the announcements. We're now going to go to the screen share. Let's look at what we're building today. This is apple.com/apple-podcasts. And please go and scroll through this because it has some interactions that may not come through on the screen share here. Let me zoom out one for you. So we don't really get that perfect, smooth parallax scroll on the screen share on live. There's a little bit of a quality reduction naturally. So go and check out this smooth scroll. We're going to be implementing this pretty close to what we see here. And same with these. These are going to be fade in and move up scroll reveals. We're going to build these. We're getting into interactions. And we're just going to build through this page, client first V2. We're not going to build a slider here. We'll build a tabs component. We'll show a full size graphic, but this is a whole 2-hour stream in itself building these. Very impressive, but we will not do that. Yep, we'll do these. Look at this scroll in. So we are going to look at possibly combining the two scroll effects. You could see this scroll effect is really the same as this scroll effect. So we're going to come up with a way that with classes, we can use one Webflow interaction and apply that to these two sections, ideally to anywhere in the project. So we'll be super efficient with that. this. And if we get to this, we will. If not, we may skip the FAQ. We may skip the footer. I'm really more interested in, everything kind of here and higher. So that's the goal today. And let's see, I think we can get started. I'm going in here, a fresh client first V2 build. This is a fresh clone right from the Made in Webflow showcase. So let me first drag in some assets. I prepared all the assets from this project, and I will drag them in here. Cool. There we go. We got everything. Nice. Looking great. Okay. We have our assets. Now let's go and add some of the styles. We're not going to do a full style review of this, but usually a good first step, no matter what you're building, is to jump in that style guide and start adding the colors, the text, the whatever else that needs to be added. So let's do that in the style guide. What can we do? I'm going to do the headings. This is what I feel is the one of the most important things to keep unified. So H1, this is the large text. This is a bit of a smaller text, more like an H3 type style. This looks like we're back up to the H1, H2. Okay, this looks like an H3 style. Okay, so we pretty much have two text styles on here. They're probably different HTML tags, but really it's just two text styles. And if you were in the Chromecast walkthrough last week, Chromecast last week, this is such a better built page. Let's zoom all the way out here and look how nice this looks. It's just excellent for responsiveness. This is a ridiculous zoom out, but it still looks good. And if you remember, that Chromecast project looked absolutely terrible when we zoomed out. So Apple is doing a great job with this, and I love that there's only two typography styles for headings. There's the big and there's the small. And yeah, super neat, super clean. This is easy to read, easy to digest. So I'll be making the H1 and the H2 the same, since it looks like there is no visual difference here. So this is quite large. I'll be increasing this. Let's do a 4.5. And for this H2, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to change this to the 1.1, and this is going to be a 4.5 as well. I have the same style, so I'm not going to make them two different ones. Okay, this looks like an H3 type style. This would be our second heading. Okay, so let's go and do that. I'll go to the H2. Let's make this a 3 for now. We may change that when we're in the project. But 3 looks good for now. Let's make sure that we mirror these on the project. On the classes, sorry. On the classes, the H1, H2 classes, we want to make sure that we mirror the styles on those tags. And really, this is a huge effort to just be aware of the amount of heading styles that we're using. We shouldn't have 5, 6, 7 different heading styles that can have different combinations. We want to stay unified. And you know what? This Apple Podcast site does a great job at that. Really love it. So there we go. We have the heading styles looking pretty good. We're not doing custom fonts. We don't put those in. That's not what we're concerned about here. But of course, this is a protected Apple font. Paragraph, let's see. This looks definitely larger than a 16 to me. Let's do that. Let's make the body. I'm going to make the whole body a little bit larger. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make the paragraph. Let's do a 1.25 here. Nice. We'll keep that for now. We know it's a little bit larger. We'll see if we change that as we're building. Okay. Next, colors. I went ahead and grabbed the hex colors just so we don't have to go inside Inspector together. So I will just make sure that we go ahead and do that. I will go and add them as swatches, and I will do that by just jumping in here and starting to add them. So I grab this for the black. Nice. We have this for the gray. Allow a little bit of auto naming here. Okay, we got the gray. I'll search for this and hit this. This is the white smoke. And then we have some purple colors that I'll add. Notice how I'm adding these as swatches. This will keep them global in the sense of our project configuration. So this is nice and useful for us. So this looks like the primary purple. And then if I were to get the lighter purple, there we are. And that's all we're going to add now. I'm sure that the site will have more as we build it, but this is a good start. This is going to get us where we need to go. The first thing I like to do with that is go ahead and make sure that we have our body type, our body font as black. And let's see, do we have a background? Looks like the whole thing is gray here. Yep, whole site's gray. So in that case, I will change the body to this background gray color, and then these will sit on top. Okay, nice, gray, wonderful. Okay, we got the colors, we got the typography. Containers we don't really want to worry about now. We can do that as we're building, or it's not a focus of this. Okay, good. I think we're ready to jump in and actually start building this thing. Before I do that, I will go into the comments and see if there's any relevant questions, highly relevant questions related to style guide setup. Okay. Yeah, nice. Okay. Okay, some good suggestions, some good comments, but nothing super related to the content here. So I am going to continue moving, but I do encourage you, just keep commenting, keep talking, and we will definitely get into questions. Okay, so I will remove the first page here, and I'm ready to start building. We have the main wrapper, and the first thing I'm going to do with this live build is just create all of the sections. Just get an overview of everything I'm about to do. It's like writing comments in your code before you actually code. So I'll go and do that. We have our section, and I need to zoom for you, of course. How could I forget? We have the home hero. Next, the home hero, let's call this the podcast feature. Let's do podcast feature. No, it's a bit too long for this. I'm just going to call it features. No, that's actually very confusing. I'm not going to call it that. Okay. Anytime you run into this kind of naming thing, stop thinking and just do it. So, especially at this stage of the project. So we'll call this the podcast featured. Great. Let's now do the call out. This will be the call out. So section call out. Let's do section. I guess this is the same section here. You know what? I'm going to put them in the same section. Do section tabs. Let's do section car home features. Do a section home feature. then section devices. So doing this here, this is just kind of, setting a good base for the page, looking at what we're about to build, knowing the order of the page. Excellent. And we'll do FAQ and then we'll move forward. Cool. All right. First, back up here, before we even get into this first section, we have to go with the nav. So let's go ahead and build this nav. I'll jump in the main wrapper or I will not jump in the main wrapper. I'll jump right outside of the main wrapper with a form component, navbar component, sorry. And as you can see, global styles, child navbar, main wrapper, sibling. We do not want to nest this inside the main wrapper. So this will be a nav component. I am not going to use the default container or brand. I never like to use the Webflow included components. The reason being, they have styles. Potentially, they have styles attached to them, and I just do not want that. So let's get this nav logo. We do need this element. This is tied to JavaScript, and that will open and close with the click of the menu button. So we do need these two elements. The container and the brand, I like to get rid of. So let's go and make this a nice background color that we can go and recognize. We got the black, or this doesn't look like the black. It's this. Nice. Cool. And we just have some text links here. Great. I also don't like to use these nav links, just a preference, again, because they come from Webflow. So they have a special naming, and yeah, just like to use the regular. Nav, let's do a link. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's remove these. Store Mac, iPad, iPhone. Watch AirPods. Little bit of data entry, but I feel like this is just an iconic bar. You have to add it. So I do want to add it. TV and home. I will say, I think Apple sites are very easy to navigate for the size of them. Okay. Accessories and support. Okay. Oh, that's two separate sections. Great. Okay, let's go and make these white or this color. And let's remove this decoration. Let's get this aligned somehow. So let's see what we're going to do. We'll get a nav content to just center this. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go in here. We're going to call this the nav content. Where is this? Whoops. Nav content. We have the nav. Why are you? There we go. Okay. Let's go and flex this. Great. Let's go and add these icons as SVGs using current color. Look how I'm hovering over these. You can see a little bit of fade, and we're able to do this with SVGs. So I'm going to go and add a embed block, and we're going to paste not in here, the SVG icons right into that embed block. So I'll go and open this up, and I'm going to right click, inspect that, and grab this SVG code. Excellent. I've grabbed the SVG code. Come on. I will add it to this HTML embed. I'm going to change the width 100%, 100%. I'm going to change this fill to current color. Great. And now this nav logo, I can adjust the width. So let's do a 1 rem. 1.5, great. And we can also go and do this. Nice. So there we go. And now what's cool about this is this changes color with the color here inside the styles panel. So really powerful. And now let's do the same thing here for these two on the side, the search and this. So I'll do that same process that we just went through for the other side. Let's add it in the nav menu. Yeah, I like adding it in the nav menu. So let's just go straight to embed. We'll add 2 embeds in here, and then we're going to go and grab the SVG code for the 2 icons. So we have the bag icon. Let's open that up. And then we have the search icon. Let's open that up. All right, search icon coming first. We'll inspect. We grab the SVG, and let's go and add this to the first embed. So I'll do the same thing, 100%, 100%. It will then take the width and height of the parent, which is the embed block, and then we can do current color here. And yes, coming from Christian Smith, you can use Reloom icon library to do this for you automatically. Yes, absolutely you can. There's a few tools out there that will help you do this conversion process. And I'm showing you just so you know how it works. So what's going on behind? Let's do nav, left icons, right icons, or just icons. Okay, 1 rem. We make this the white. And we have, I'll just duplicate this to get the shopping cart. Nice. Okay. Now we need the other one for shopping cart. So you can see it's a time consuming process, right? It's a bit of manual work. But when you know how this works, you can really customize anything and really keep the CSS and not have to worry about how to change the color or using multiple stacked graphics. So I think this is really valuable. Now, let's go and make this thing actually look good. I'm going to distribute the space evenly, let's say. I'm going to call this the nav menu, 100%. I'll put a flex on this. Great. And let's see. Yeah, we're going to push these a little bit. Probably not keep this. We're probably not going to keep that style, but let's just continue here. Okay, we have a little bit of space underneath here. Just going to slightly change this to reduce that. Nope. Great. Okay. Okay. You know what we forgot? We totally forgot our um, the padding. So I'm going to go and add the padding here. We're going to use the global padding. Let's put that container medium in here. And here we have global padding global. Nice. Okay. So looking good so far. Of course, this is not done, but great. See what we're looking at, what we're missing here. Okay. A little bit more space here. We're not going to do this, like I said. Let's do a 1 rem here. 1.5. 2 with a little bit more space here, and then we're going to move on. Excellent. Nav component. Let's set a height here, and we're going to set a height. I like setting heights for things like nav components. It's going to help us when we do our sticky right here. So look at this sticky. I like to keep things aligned height. So let's go and flex this centered. Great. Think I have one too many. What am I doing here? Getting lost. There we go. This is what I want to do. Great. So this looks good for now. These look nice, and we're going to move on. Of course, this can be customized and further, tweaked, but this is the structure. This is the structure that I would go with. I would feel comfortable moving forward here. Great. Okay, let's now get into some more fun stuff. And before we do that, let's get into this sticky. And I don't know, it depends if you think sticky is fun. I normally don't like sticky, but it's here, so we're going to build it. So inside this main wrapper, this is content for the main site. So I will be doing that. Let's call this the section home sticky. And in section home sticky, I'm going to go and add the padding global. I'm going to add my container medium, and I am going to add a content container medium, and let's go home sticky. Or you know what? Let's just call this sticky. This seems like something that can really go on any page of the project. So sticky content. And you know what? Maybe I'm not even going to call this a section. Instead, I'm going to call this the home sticky component, really to encourage myself to just use this same thing, but not home sticky, just sticky. Sticky component. You zoom in here for you. Okay, sticky component. Let's make sure we get rid of this. Cool. All right, so we got our sticky component. We have some nice base structure. We have the content ready to accept some text. So let's go and do that. I'll add a text block. We'll call this Apple Podcasts, and we'll go and put a button all the way at the end there. Apple Podcasts. Let's add a button. I'm going to add a link block with a text. I usually prefer this over the button element. However, the button element you can use as well. I think it says get app. Open the app. Okay, let's call this the button. Let's make this look decent. Nice. And this button, now let's go and start to set up what this button is. This is going to be button. I think this is the primary button. And this would be button with, let's say, a combo of is small. And yep, this looks like the primary button. This is what we want. And yeah, this is a one-off. We can even call this is sticky if we wanted to. But I think is small is more appropriate. This could be reused a little bit better. So first, let's style the button. Then let's get to the variation. So we have this nice dark violet. Let's remove this decoration and let's do some radius. Not 100. What do I want to do here? I forgot the rules with this. What's the best way to do this? Nice. Okay. Open the app. Good. And I think I'm just going to make this a little bit larger. So here, we'll go 1, 1. I'm just going to put this out to 2. Nice. And now we do our is small. And client first already has us covered. There we go. But our is small is going to be even smaller. Let's actually leave that and we'll just go and reduce this size. Yeah. Oh, it's extra small. So our is small is going to come in here. Let's do 0.25 and 0.25. Okay, do we have any questions? A quick stop. Nice, no questions. Oh, right. And Eric, I think the page would need a specific breakpoint for the nav. We're going to test that. When we build a few sections, we're going to start dragging the page in and out and in and out, and we'll see how this nav reacts. So at this point, I'm thinking about responsiveness, but I'm not, yeah. Like this, of course, will need probably a custom breakpoint, or we'll get to it. I think a change to the container medium may also be a good move. We'll see. Okay, we have our Apple Podcast. What do we have here? Why is this completely overflowing on me? There we go. Okay. Okay. Back to action. I'm going to go up to the component and I'm going to add it here. 1.5 rem. Let's actually go 1. Right? This looks about good. Apple Podcast, of course, we need to make this larger. So we can do, if we wanted to, we could do sticky title. We could do heading H4. We can do whatever. I'll do a heading H4. But yeah, it looks about what we would want. Nice. Okay. Cool. And just for building, I'm going to make these a bit smaller so they're not in our way. Okay, now we need to go and make this sticky. So we will set this up. We'll be testing it as we build a bit more sections here. But let's test it now. Nice. There we are. Okay, so just by doing this, component, position sticky, top 0, whoops, we are going to have this element sticky as we scroll down. Now we'll make sure that this is okay with our horizontal content. We'll talk about that when we get to this section. But let's start up here on top. Okay. I will remove this. And let's do this bottom bar here. Main wrapper. sticky component. We have the border bottom with the 1, and let's do a super light. We can change that later. Great. Okay, our first main section, the visual stuff, the nice stuff. So let's go in here. Let's add a padding global. We're going to make this, I want to say it was a container small, that this was fairly condensed text. And we're going to add a section padding. What are we going to do here? Large. What do we have? Nope, this is quite small. I would even say this may be our small. Let's see. Nice. Okay, love it. Let's go and add this image. We have our podcast image here ready for us. Let's go and add a padding block. So I'm going to do a padding bottom. And I'm going to do let's do a small. Nice. So a quick comment about this. Okay. Let's add a text in here. So this, Apple is calling this their H1. I did go and inspector in here. I saw what they were doing. Everything's neat and organized, and they're considering this the H1. So we're going to give it an H1 tag, and then we're going to give it a custom class. I personally do not like H1s that are this small. I want my H1 to be big. I want it to be the focus of the page. This is a different strategy. This is kind of a, hey, let's come up with a cool marketing way to say this. But because of that, this can't be the H1. So this is the H1, and we'll give it a custom class for that, I think, rare occurrence. Let's do heading H1. We're going to call this, let's call this the heading. I'm going to create something new here. I'm going to do a heading tiny H1. Heading style tiny H1. If this is recurring, we have this now as part of our heading. If we wanted to create a custom class like heading underscore home H1, we can do that as well. But I'll be doing this because I think it's cool. Cool. So let's get this tiny H1. Okay. Let's get the text here. So now this is going to be an H2, let's say. Millions of shows, blah, blah, blah. Great. And not this. Okay. And then last, we will add our button. So I'll just grab this button and I'm going to remove this. Cool. So a couple ways that we can handle this. Let's see. It looks like everything is centered here, right? Wow. So many things are centered, almost to the point where it seems like the whole page is centered, as if, yeah, centering is the default. So when something is the default, that's what I like to apply to the most general and global class. So my instinct, we can apply it here, but that's just this section. I really think if this is the trend of the whole site to be centered everywhere, that this can be on the page wrapper. This could even be on the body. So I know this is kind of a bold move, but based on this page, I would assume that the website, the project, has a center alignment. And there's only a few instances where it's not center aligned. So these would be the ones that would have the deviation, the altering from the default. So because of that, I'm going in here and I'm going to say body centered. If you don't want to be that aggressive with it, you can go and do the page wrapper. You can even say something like is centered. Maybe it's just a few pages, right? So let's do that. This one is nice, is centered. So we're not tied to it. It's not part of the core of the project, but I can very easily center all the text on one page. Awesome. All right, we have this padding bottom. Now look at the power of this padding bottom. I can go ahead and just drag this around as needed. So we have our small right in here, and then I'll drag one here, and I'll drag one here. I think this should be padding medium. Yeah, that sounds about right. Could have just copied that. Add medium. Nice. Okay. Now we have to adjust this. This section, this, hey, where's our container small? Container medium? No. Section small. Ah, we fell outside of the container. Let's get back in there. Nice. And we're going to adjust this so that it fits in here. Because based on this site, it looks like this is the basis for that centering. So let's look at this. This we're calling medium. This is going to be the small. So here, the small, it looks like it has the same alignment. We'll see. Maybe we slightly adjust this. This is also a small alignment. Oh, a little bit more. Okay, so it looks like there's several alignments. Several alignments. This one looks a little bit bigger. So look at this. This card expands past this. Okay, and since we're covering this exactly as is, I'm actually going to duplicate this and make this extra small. So I'll change this back to 48. I think we'll need another small version. And this one is going to be duplicated for a little bit more flexibility here, extra small. And now this one is 42. Cool. Eric Mueller, good comment here. Pro tip, it's even easier to work with padding blocks if you make them symbols. This is true. We have a lot of people using padding blocks as symbols. You can go ahead, add each padding block as a symbol here and very easily drag them and move them around. So good move. I do recommend it. On another stream, I can go and do that. Okay, nice. We are looking good on this homepage hero. Cool. Cool. All right. Next, the section we've all been waiting for. This is, please make sure that you scroll on this page and just see what we're building here. It doesn't really come through super well on the live stream, but we are building this parallaxy type section. So with this section, we have a bunch of columns. Let's zoom out, see what we really have here. This is a multi-column, so it has to stay. It doesn't adjust size. Look at it's, you can see one column. I can see 1.5. I can see 1 3/4. I can see 2. I can see 2 1/4. So they are fixed. We're going to have to fix them. What else do we see? Okay, this phone is scrolling down with us. While scrolling through this section, we are scrolling down on the phone. And these columns are moving up. This column and this column moving up while the phone moves down. And it does not appear that these are moving. Right? The first two columns not moving. This is moving up. This is moving down. And that's what creates that effect. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get right into here. Let me take a quick break before drink some water and see if there's any comments. Javi, Javi, I will answer that question after we do this section. Okay, let's do it. This is a big one. So the first thing I will do is note that it's really nice that our global padding, our content container, that they're not all styles on one class, because we're not going to need all of them right now. This is the great part about decoupling all of these important styles. We can choose to use them, choose to not use them. So this is a full width section here. There's no padding. Same with this, full width section. So we get to take advantage of that, and we don't have to create this different broken up layout that separates the padding. So let's get into this. Let's call this the don't need padding, don't need container. I think we can just jump right in here. What are we calling it? Podcast featured component. I'm going to copy this, and let's call this the component. First thing I'm going to do is set a flex and center things, because we want to be able to add a lot of columns on both sides, as many as we want, right? So it needs to start in the center and then grow out from the sides. So let's get in here and start with the phone. I'm going to use a div block first, and I'm going to call that the podcast featured phone wrapper. Inside, I will add the image of the phone and call that the phone. So we have our phone right here. And let's put a width on, I'm going to put a width on the wrapper. Okay, let's see. Can I estimate? This looks okay to me right now. So let's do 20 rem. Great. So we have that podcast phone wrapper. I think this is pretty good for the phone. Now let's get into the columns. So the columns, we're going to make a base class for the columns. We'll call it, let's say, column. And then we'll use a combo class for the ones that have an interaction attached to them. So that would be every other one of them. So these are moving, these are moving, these are moving, and these are moving. So they will get the is moving or is scrolling. So let's go do that. Okay, in here, I'll add the first column. Let's make sure that we have the horizontal set to center. And I'll do it, where is this? I'll do it from the other side. Okay, podcast featured column. Everything will be a column, and each item will be an item. And I could use a div block. I like to use div blocks as wrappers in case there's hover effects, in case the client asks for an effect that requires a parent wrapper. So instead of leading with the image, sometimes I like to do it with the wrapper, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So this is going to be an item, and then inside will be the image. I'll add this. Okay. It's got the shadow in it. I wish I took it without the shadow. I normally do not like to add shadow, and actually, darn. I'm not a huge fan of shadow on the image because it just kind of misaligns things. Like, look, we have this misalignment on the left and the right here, and we'd have to adjust for that for CSS. So I grabbed all these graphics. I didn't realize that the graphic was to show here. The shadow was showing here. So I'm going to pull a variation, and I'm just going to screenshot one of them and use that for each one. I don't like that shadow. I always recommend adding the shadow um, not inside the image and instead with CSS. So I'm just going to grab this right here. Quick screenshot. Bam. Okay. Nice. So Wild Things, I think the branding is spot on. So pretty cool also. All right, the item, let's cut this down. What are we going to do? A 12 rem here? We'll keep that for now. Or maybe just a bit larger. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to say a bit larger here. Keep it for now. Okay, great. We'll do a little space on the bottom. And there we go. And let's go and add let's make it look like it did. So I'll do a 2 rem. Whoa. What just happened here? I think an accidental control Z. Rem. Nah, probably a 2 rem. Okay. Right. Are the graphics about the size of this? Maybe a little smaller here. Just a little bit further down. I'll do a 14 rem. Nice. Oh, a bunch of things didn't stay written. Great. And let's add a shadow that is definitely not exactly what was there, but good enough for this. I'm not very good with shadows. Well, I'm just not a designer, but I found it's just easy to do distance, double it for the blur, lower to a gray, and lower the opacity. And it looks okay. I think it just works in most instances to distance and double for blur. So that's what I'm doing. Cool. All right, we have the column here. And watch what happens when I duplicate. And now let's duplicate again. Bring this on the other side of the phone. Duplicate again. There we go. So now we have our columns. We have our phone in the middle, nice and tiny. But don't worry, we will go and make sure that this does not shrink. And same with these. We don't want these to shrink either. Nothing should be shrinking, right? As we saw here. It stays the same size always. And that I'm not going to drag my screen because we're set up for the screen share, but if you drag your screen, none of these sizes change. So let us continue. Okay, how will we do a spacing here? Let's see, these are all about the same spacing. I'll do these columns a little bit on each side. Looks good. 1 rem, 1 rem. Yeah, that sounds about nice. And then that means I will mirror it here so that we equal all around. 1 rem, 1 rem. Cool. Nice. Okay, and look at this, horizontal scroll. Horizontal scroll. So we don't want that. And a really easy way that we can avoid that, I'm going to go up to the section here, and I'm going to do overflow hidden. So now I cannot horizontally scroll. I'm trying to, it's not working. And I still get to keep this sticky, which now we're seeing needs a background color. So this one was a white, I believe. I also think it's a little bit too much space here. Nice. Great. Cool. Oh, even, oh, it's got that cool blur effect. Okay. All right. That's good for now. Loving it. Looks great. Okay, now let's really jump into this. This is a big one. Joseph Bates, could you have done this with grid? I'm going to say yes, you can do it with grid, but I would not want to do it with grid. My first thought was flex, but yeah, I think there's a lot of things that you could do with both Flexbox and grid. For me, this one feels more like a Flexbox. Maybe it will make sense more when we're done with this. So let's build this. Let's look at it. And if anybody has comments of Flexbox or grid, why one may be better or worse, I'd love to hear that. Okay, so the phone's moving down. Every other column is moving up. So let's create a combo class to target what's moving up. This one is going to move up. So this is the featured column. And I'll say is scrolling. And same with this one, is scrolling. By applying this combo class, I'm now able to target it specifically inside Webflow interactions. This one, we don't need a combo class. It's already a unique class, and we can go and do that. So let's go and click on this component. The entire component wrapper will be the trigger. And I'm going to reduce the size of this just a little bit so we can see a little bit more of these. Cool. So we're on the component. I will element trigger, and it's going to be a scroll while in view. And I will tie it to the class, and I will play scroll animation. Client first v2, we did not release any information about interactions. We will be, and I'm actually going to use the model that we are after for the interactions naming. So for this, it's going to be the name first. What is the core element that is being featured? And this is going to be the podcast featured. This is not the folder name. This is just the good identifier of the element, the primary element that's being affected here. Podcast featured, and this will be the action, which is, let's call it a parallax scroll, and that's it. So we are in here. Good starts when entering is fully invisible. And hold on one second. Where did this go? Yeah, nice. Okay. Okay. Parallax scroll. I'm just making sure that this naming was correct. This was the first time I'm actually naming this. So the docs page is coming out, but yes, the name dash the action. So the podcast featured is going through a parallax scroll, and this is what we're going with for naming. So how are we going to start and end this? As I scroll through, this is moving not immediately. So this is where the component starts, but nothing is happening yet. It's happening about halfway through, right? And now we start scrolling. Halfway through, now we start scrolling. Maybe a little bit before halfway through. And then at the end, we stop about halfway through. So it starts halfway through, ends halfway through, and that is what we will set our offset with. So a little bit before halfway, and let's say this is halfway. So that means this interaction is going to start when we get to 40% of this view, and then it's going to stop when we get to 50% of the bottom view. So this seems like exactly what we're going for. Okay, now we are going to target our column with the combo class, and it will be moving. Make sure you do the combo class is scrolling. This one's moving up, right? Yes. So it starts a little bit lower. Maybe a lot bit lower, right? Let me just make sure I'm doing the right one here. Yeah, starts a little bit lower, and then it comes up, and they just about match. Okay. So this looks good, I guess. 4 rem, and then 0 rem. Okay, and they end about the same. So they end. This one's actually a little bit lower, just a tiny bit lower. So I will do -1 rem. Too much. Yeah. Or it ends. No, it ends lower. Sorry. Not negative, positive. Okay. So this should be a good start here. Nice. Great. This looks like it's exactly what we're looking for. These are scrolling up. This is not scrolling. And now we can go and scroll with this phone. So let's go and scroll on the phone. We're going to grab the wrapper, and the phone starts normal, right? We start normal on the phone, and we're scrolling down at the end of the animation. So we scroll down 6 rem. I don't know. No, not that far. 4 rem. Really? Oh, maybe because we made these a bit smaller. I'm not going to do the exact perfect. We made these smaller so we can see what's going on here. I'm going to do 6 rem so we can see if this is what we're looking for. So we go, and nice. I need to add a huge. On the main wrapper, I'm adding a temporary 20 rem so we can see some scrolling here. 60 rem. Nice. Cool. Okay. So first, just a quick update. It looks like this starts much lower here. So I'll actually take these and I'll do an initial, bring these down a bit. 4 rem, even like a 6 rem, let's say. The featured component. Okay. Nice. Cool. Looking good. This is what we're looking at here. Phone's moving down. Sides are moving up. This is a beautiful interaction here. And I'm going to share this published page here. I'm going to share this published page, and you can see how this looks. You can follow along here. Nice. Love it. This is looking pretty good. Don't worry about this cutoff. We will just attend to that when we get to the next section. Okay, and this totally works. So we have, what's really nice about this is we have our column. It's globally managed. And then we have the combo for the is scrolling. So we can continue to grow on this. We have our phone, our 2 columns, and then we'll take this and drag another one, this and drag another one, and we'll do the same on the other side. Drag another one and drag another one. So if I zoom out, we have all these columns, and look, they are moving all together in unison, and we're following this exact same. Cool. Nailed it. Looks great. Sean Gibson, isn't the phone static with the podcast moving? No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that this phone is moving and this is not moving, this first column. Great. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, let's do that right now. Let's not wait. So this has a 2 and the nav component. Let's do this as a 99. Okay, nice. So this was a really nice section here. Let's move on. Okay, next we have the callout section. The callout section has these pieces of text, and we're going to build this interaction, and we're going to build it in a way that is scalable. What that means is instead of creating two interactions that do the same thing, this is doing the same thing, we're going to build one interaction, and we'll be able to put that interaction anywhere on any element in the entire project. So we'll do, yeah, we're going to build it global. So let's go and do that. Let's jump in here for a section callout, and let's go and start building how we would normally build. Let's do a padding global. We're going to hit this with the container small. Great. And we'll do how much padding top and bottom? Yeah, a little bit. Let's do the large here. Create some space. Container small, and then section padding section large. Cool. All right. Now let's get into a call out. I'm going to call this a component. And the reason is I'm going to assume that every one of these has the same effect. And we want to build this for the entire site, that we can grab this and bring it with us anywhere that we want. So I'll go and I'm going to have this as a paragraph, and I'm going to give it a heading style H3. And let's get these texts in place. Good. Call out component. I'll add a second one. Then we'll add the rest. Rem. Good. Okay, millions of podcasts from the biggest names to the best independents with a span. This is going to be a span, and the premium content is a span when I get that text. Okay. Nothing. Premium content, span. This is a clear use for the text color classes. So we're going to do text color, and I'll just create a new one, purple. So here we have purple, and we're going to do this. Millions of podcasts. Oh, already spanned. And this is purple. Cool. All right, and I don't need to keep clicking to that. Remove. And it looks like we're going to either increase the size of the text. I think increase the size of the text. So let's do a 3.5. Nope. Okay. Well, I will, let's see. Let's keep the original 48 here. This is not the way to do it, to expand the line here, to do a line break. We're going to fix this, but for right now, I'm focused on this building and animation. So I'm not doing this very well, I will say. I wouldn't be comfortable shipping a site like this, but we're moving forward with this. Okay, let's get this effect right. So we have the component, we have the heading style. I'm going to create a trigger element. And the trigger element is going to have a height, a fixed height. We're not going to use this as the trigger, because we could have a call out that's double the size, triple the size, quadruple the size, half the size. It doesn't matter. We don't want this effect to be based on the amount of text or the amount of content. And even when we get down to these cards, look how much bigger content this card is. So if the parent is the trigger, when we're doing this while scrolling effect, there'll be a different size trigger for all of these effects, but they need to work exactly the same. So we are going to make a separate trigger so it's completely non-dependent on the amount of text in here. So let's call this scroll reveal. This is its own folder. This is not part of any specific call out or any specific card. It is the scroll reveal. So this will be the scroll reveal trigger. And I will give this a position absolute, make sure it's caught by the component right here. So that way the scroll reveal is sitting right here. And let's set this height to 4 rem, maybe 8 rem. This is nice. The 8 rem here is always going to be the same no matter what. So when I go and have 3 lines or 2 lines, copying this, come on, copy, paste, it's always going to be the same. And we are also going to, we're going to add a combo class to this. And this combo class, along with this trigger, can be placed on any element. So let's call this, we have the scroll reveal. Let's do is scroll reveal. So trigger, scroll reveal can be put anywhere, this combination. And I'll even go and add a relative to the scroll reveal so that we never run into the problem of the absolute moving out of that position. So if I add is scroll reveal, this now becomes a class that we can target. We'll target it inside Webflow interactions, and then we have our is scroll reveal. And the scroll reveal needs to be relative. Cool. All right, we are ready to go and test this out, hoping that it works. Callout component is scroll reveal. We have the is scroll reveal ready for action here. Let's go and make it happen. So I'll go and target this trigger. I'm going to do a while scrolling in view. I'm going class, and I will play a scroll. I think we're going to keep this default for now. And we are going to do universal show scroll reveal. I'm doing universal effect scroll reveal. This is going to be able to go anywhere in the project. It's not for callouts, it's not for cards. So we're keeping this really clear that this is for a lot of things. So let's now go and target, not this. We want to take our is scroll reveal. Is scroll reveal is scroll reveal. So let's do this goes down 3 rem. And then at 100, it goes to 0 rem. And it's not going to be siblings. This is the key. Only parents with this element. Hey, this changed. Is scroll reveal. Only parents. Great. Nice. Oh, and not 0, 100, of course. This has to be somewhere in the middle here. Let's try this. Nice. So look at this. Look how this is moving. I hope you can see this on the stream. Let me go and actually change this, and I'll do the opacity as well. This will be a lot easier to see. And we'll review exactly what is happening here. Nice. So look at that effect. Starts small, it's fading in. Nice. So only parents with this, we can apply this combo class is scroll reveal to any element. Inside that, nest the trigger. And the trigger will be looking for a parent with this on top of it. So we can really add this anywhere in the project. And we'll see that when we build more underneath. But let's see, we can now remove is scroll reveal. We added this so that we could target it separately. So we will remove that. And you can see, I'm just going to duplicate this, duplicate it once. I'll add the is scroll reveal, and I'll specifically leave this one without is scroll reveal. The second one doesn't have it. So we can see how this works. Cool, cool, cool. This is coming up just like we want it. Great. Not working. And then working. Awesome. And then working. Awesome. Nice. Kind of like this effect. Great. So, of course, we do want this to work. So I will do is scroll reveal. Nice. Love it. Let's just add this other text here. Does anybody have any questions on that? If you're watching live and you are not sure about that flow, please ask now, as we probably will not go back to this section. And I'll give just a few seconds here for people to ask. Duration, personalized discovery. Did I copy this? Okay. Come on. Remove. We have the purple. Okay. Love it. Okay, so let's just confirm here. I'll do a publish on this page. If you have the link, you can scroll through it, see it working, and great. What's also really cool about this is this effect is so detached from the styles of what the visual is that you can do so many things with this scroll reveal trigger. Imagine you wanted the same effect, the same type of outcome, but you just needed to increase the height or reduce the height. You can say is less scroll, is more scroll, is something else. And you can really create this fade in management system that really doesn't depend on the element that you are applying it to. I think super important to have this kind of mentality when building these types of effects. So look at this. This is perfect. Love it. Comes up, fades in. Love it. Hell yeah. That's what we're talking about. Nice. Great, great, great. Nailed it. Okay, cool. Love it. So looks like no comments. Thank you. Wow, nice trick for scroll reveal. Thank you, Priyank. I appreciate that. Yeah, this type of mentality, creating separate elements for scroll triggers, can come in handy a lot. This will help you manage exactly where things start, exactly where things end. And nobody wants to deliver a site and then the client adds more content, and then they say, hey, the scroll is not working anymore. It's all the way at the top of the page until it comes in, and then there's a problem. So you always have to assume that the size of the content will change, and if that is the case, consider using a different element. All right, nice. We're making good progress here. I think we'll get through here. Okay, next, let's add our button, and this will be a good opportunity to answer. We had a question earlier from Javi. Joe, you changed is small while stacked on another class in the button. changing a global class stacked on top of another class is an okay practice because it only affects that particular instance. Yes, well, is small only affects this instance. So yes, this is okay. If we were going to do something like, how about this one we just created, the is scroll reveal. This is not a combo class. This is a global add-on class to the button. We're just adding another class on top of it. We're not creating a combo class relationship. So in this instance, I would not rename it. But yeah, I have no problem renaming is small in this instance. So there we go. I hope that answers the question, Javi. If it does not, please let me know. Oh, right. We are looking so good here. Let's see if a really nice and simple z-index of 1 here is going to fix this. It's not. Oh, overflow hidden. Wow. Okay. Curveball. Let's address this before we move on. So I applied the overflow hidden to prevent horizontal scroll. That's the purpose of that. However, we have an unexpected effect happening here where we're also cutting off the scroll. So this can't be. We have to actually remove this overflow or add a lot of space under so that this is not going to be a problem. So let's do section. Let's do a 6 rem here. Maybe more, actually. Let's do a 12 rem. And I'm actually going to remove this padding large here because we will be really creating this space above it. So I will go and make sure we remove these. Remove, 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 remove. This will be just a padding bottom. And with the padding large, whoa, padding huge. And here, now, let's see. Great. Okay, so no overflow. So we are still benefiting from the horizontal overflow, but we're not getting cut off down here because we have increased the space of the element that's being overflowed. We overflow past this section. So now with this extra space, there is no cutoff. As we're scrolling this phone down, it's still within the bounds of the element that is being non-overflowed. Cool. So let's continue. Tabs. I will build this not interactive. This will be a simple tabs component. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at the time. We're not going to build this unless the live audience has an uproar of a requirement to build it. I just think this kind of component just takes too much time. And I was going to do static images, but honestly, I would much rather focus on these cards and reusing the interaction. I think that's much more valuable. So I'll move on. Crowd, if you hate that decision and you really want me to cover that tabs component, let me know. But I think it's best to move on to these cards. Okay, so tabs. I guess goodbye. It was nice to know you. Home features. Let's get into it. Let's do a padding global. We're going to hit a container. I think this is the large. This is where we're going large. And there's got to be some section padding. Padding section. We'll go with the large as well. Okay. Okay. So we are going to create these cards. And notice how the cards have different layouts inside of them. I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see them. This has different padding on the top and bottom and sides than this one. Padding is different. And then this one, padding is different. So we can go with a combo class method. We can go with a stacked method. I'll talk about both of them and we'll figure out what's the best. So let's go and call this, what are we calling this? The home features. I'll keep it I'll actually rename it as cards. These feel super cardy to me. And I just think I think this is a better naming for this. This is not going to be something super specific to the home. I'm sure that this will be reused all throughout the project. Okay, so let's get this first card. And I'm going to give this a really simple name, folder name of card. So this will be the card item. Let's create a little bit of size here so we can see what we're looking at. Let's do 4 rem and I'll just do it all the way around for now. Do we have any shadow? No, white background. Okay, white background with, let's say a 2 rem here. Okay, and you know what? Just for the purpose of this building, I'm going to put a shadow on it just so we can see it better. With the screen share, we may get a little bit of loss of clarity between these two elements. So let's go with a distance of 8, double it, 16, easy. We're going to go some other color with reduced. And there we go. That's okay for this stream. All right, now we have a decision to make. We have our card item. It's maintaining a lot of the same properties across all of the cards, but the layout is clearly different. We can go with a combo class method where we go card item and we can say is layout 1, or we can do a nesting method, which is card, and then we can do item layout 1. There is no right or wrong. Some people would really prefer the combo class method. With client first, I'm starting to really appreciate the nesting mentality and really keeping things separate. So I think I'm going to stick with that. And let's build it. Let's see what it looks like. And we can actually very easily change this if we decide the nesting is not the best. So with this, we're actually going to now I'm thinking about that decision and if it's the right decision. Let's see. So we don't need all of the paddings here. Sometimes we need them, sometimes we don't. So it would be really nice to have a combo class to say this one doesn't have it. Yeah. I'm going to go combo class system. I have a change of heart and we're going to do card item. Just be careful with this. You want to have a really limited amount of, you don't want to have 20 different card items here. So this is going to be layout 1. And with layout 1, we don't have padding on the side and we do have some content elements here. So we don't have padding here. We are probably going to go with a grid setup. And I'm going to go and add, why do I keep going to this? This text with some paragraph. Great. So hard text content. And I'll go and add, let's call this an H2. This is a great use case for coming out with our, this is only left aligned. So see, this is now the exception, left aligned, so it gets applied right here to the layout. Because not all these cards, this one's left aligned, this one's centered. So this is layout specific, it's not even card specific. And that's why it's being applied to the combo class layer. So let's make this a heading style H3, personalized discovery. Looks like we have the same padding here. Yeah, the same spacing. So I'm actually going to apply this as a grid. We add the paragraph, and then the spacing between these will be applied as a grid space, which I've really been loving. We don't want a second column here. This is going to be one rem, and there we go. So now we'll be able to use this and manage this for all the text content inside these cards. Let's get the text. Okay. And let's get a single graphic. I'm not going to go and build this little side thing. Let's. It's a great color. With the shadow, come on. I really don't like the shadow. No shadow. Okay. Why are we still showing this? Okay. Okay. Great. We definitely don't want this. We need something like this. Okay. And we always want this to be on top and aligned here. So maybe I can actually remove this. No, required. Okay, great. I'm okay with that. I don't like applying these node styles at all though. So instead of just doing that, how can I push this over to the sides? There we go. Wonderful. Okay, this is what we want. So this is definitely going to need a little bit more space. Oh, why did you go back on this? Come on. 2 rem, 2 rem. Let's go 4. This looks good. So there we go. We have this first style totally aligned to the right, different padding top and bottom. We have the space here, and I'll blow up this right here. Let's go 6. This is kind of huge. Nice. And this maintains the 0. Love it. Okay, nice. First card looking good. And let me just do a max. Can I hit this with a max width like this? No. We're going to want, of course, some kind of max width here. Yeah, see, that's the design. Maybe I should have just followed the design here. Let's do hard graphics row, 2 rem. I'm going to remove a row here, and then we'll just throw 2 of these inside. Okay. There we go. That's a good in between. We have the example of the right align, and then we can also see this card really well without getting too big from an image. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's continue. Next card, we'll do the next 2 cards, and then we're going to apply the effect. And then I think after that, we'll be done. We're going to come up on 2 hours, and I think finishing this will be right at the 2 hours. So yeah, this will be a good stopping point. Okay, card item. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to immediately change to a new one, is layout 2. And now with is layout 2, I can really do whatever I want. So I'll do something similar. You can see there's even less gap here. So yeah, it is completely different. So good thing we did this. And I'm actually going to completely increase this. On top is layout 2 will also be grid. A little bit less space here. Okay. So we have the is layout 2. And what are we actually building here? We have the phone and the text. So I will rotate this. I'm going to remove one of these images. I will remove this class. I will go and add the phone. And is layout 2 will not have padding on the bottom. And the same thing, we want to make sure that these are aligned and left. Great. So with this combo system, we have a lot of power here, and we still have this global style, this base style that allows us to make important changes to all of them. We can have 20 different styles if we wanted, and they are all here. Well, this one didn't. They're all here for us. Great. Okay, nice. And we'll actually do one of these right now. We go to the card item. We want every card item to have 3 rem space. Let's do a 4 rem space. And great. Okay, let's go and do another card item here. This is the last card item, and we will definitely have a different one for this. Is layout 3. And we can, I think I just want to hit flex here. Flex, vertical, top, center. We will flip this and this. Hey Siri, play my podcast. Okay. Great. We're just getting this base down. And we can add a nice spacing block here. We don't need this inside the content. There we go. And we'll do a padding block. I'm losing some steam here. Padding bottom. Padding bottom. And we will go padding medium, let's say. That's good enough for now. We're not getting exact. Really, the reason we're continuing here is to look at reusing this effect. So you can see they're all different sizes. We got big cards, we got small cards, tiny cards. It really doesn't look like this, I understand. But the point of this is to now show the interaction. So let's go back up to this. Let's remember what we did here and what we have inside the navigator. We have our scroll reveal trigger. It's a fixed height of 8 rems. And then we have this add-on class is scroll reveal. So if everything happened as we expected, this should just work. I shouldn't have to jump into interactions at all. So I'll go card item. I'm pasting in the scroll reveal trigger. I'm pasting in the scroll reveal trigger, and I'm pasting in this scroll reveal trigger. Now, I also must apply. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky here. Now we're going 3 nestings. So but let's just see it working. This is why the stacked may have been the right move here. Stacked, sometimes it's going to prevent this. I don't love this. I'm not very happy with it. But let's see. Does this work? Nice. What's up? Check it out. Fading out, fading up, fading in, Nailed it. Hell yeah. That's what we wanted. I'm going to publish this and share it in the channel. This is exactly what we wanted. I'm so happy that we didn't have to go into Webflow interactions for this. But I'm super, I should have nested. I thought about nesting and I didn't do it. And I did a combo class, and this is what you run into. So this is scroll reveal. It's super powerful. Let's go and add it to some other, let's add it to this. It's just going to work. Um, yeah, let's add it in here, and let's do is scroll reveal. This is how powerful it is. You can just add it anywhere, and it's just going to work. Look at this. Fading in. Wonderful. It just works. So I love that. So I'm going to keep that implementation. I'm not going to change up how that's implemented because I screwed up here. So now, when we overstack in client first, when we get into this situation, what I'm going to do is now separate these. Let's see if this is going to work. Because this is a recurring element, so I want to get this right before we move on to the rest of the project. I'm going to remove scroll reveal from all of these. And inside here, I'm going to add a div, hard item layout 3. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Now I'm too far in. Let's do it. So layout 3 is now going to be the parent of these items. And now the card item is just going to hold. It's just going to hold these simple styles of background, radius, and margin bottom. And now we can apply any padding right here inside this. So maybe this is 4rem, 4rem, and this is 0. Right. And remember, I can still apply any of these kind of styles on top of it. Great. Why is this not? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm removing this layout too. And I'm going to go card, item, layout 2. So this is just a reorganization strategy in client first that really allows you to just to make sure that you're not overstacking. And this to me is such an important section of the project that I want to reuse these cards everywhere in the project, that I want to make sure it is I want to make sure that I don't run into these stacking issues. So here let's do the 4rem again. The 4rem again. Great. With this. And then same thing here. So this is going to be 0, 6rem, and we do the 4rem. Okay. Where is this? What are we doing here? Hmm. Card item. Probably doesn't want that. Okay, great. So separation. I like this strategy because I can now be a little bit more free with this card item. So there's going to be our is scroll reveal. We have our is scroll reveal and our scroll reveal. Okay. We wanted to go back to the grid here. Wonderful. Okay, so this should work with the reorganization. There we go. We have this fade effect. We got the layouts. So on here. Okay, I'll push this. We'll look at it. Does anybody have any questions about what I've covered? Any of these topics? This is the first time jumping into interactions, so it did take a little bit more time than I thought. I thought this would be. I actually thought I was going to get through the whole project, but really not. Kind of close, but the interactions really did take up a big chunk. So, question about interactions? Great time to ask right now. This is really looking nice. And of course, we are not exactly correct with all of the sizes and all of that. When I go and fix this up a little bit and release it as a clonable, it'll be a little bit more clean and polished. But for this live build, this is what we're going for. We're going for following client first. We're going for the right structure. And honestly, this is one of the more easy parts of building in Webflow, that first initial build of the page, of the elements. After that initial build, after the initial components are on, the little tiny tweaks, the high attention to detail, the following everything exactly, this is what takes the most time. So maybe one episode we can show the exact little dots of every single thing. But for now, this was our goal for the stream, to show the structure, show how we have a really neat and organized interactions. I'm actually super happy with these interactions. Oh, the button. So let's also animate this button and really show you the power. Come on, damn it. Scrolling, dragging not working exactly well. Okay, so we have padding huge. Let's get the button in here, and we're going to do a is scroll reveal. Now watch, it's going to change from position static to now position relative. That's where we added to that is scroll reveal. It's truly universal. And I'm going to go and add this reveal trigger. So look at this tiny element. We still get the fixed height, and this should work exactly the way that these fade in as well. Let's reduce this just a bit too large for my liking. Okay, and we'll see. Scrolling, cool. Nice. Oh, it's so good. Man, I am just too happy about how that turned out. Scroll effect, the effect, and this is using the same thing, these cards. Truly universal. Damn. Made my day. Okay. So, questions. Probably will be signing off from the stream within the next 2 minutes. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing here, please ask. This week on my to-dos, I have a task of going and preparing all of the past streams. We needed client first content. We needed it fast. So I jumped on live and I'm filming it for you. However, none of them have released as clonables, but we want to do the Chromecast as a clonable. We want to do the Hacks TypeScript as a clonable. This is a clonable. So that's coming. Expect it next week or the week after. And yes, Mike, I will share a read-only right now. Absolutely. So Mike has asked for a read-only. I'm sharing it in the chat, and that should work for you. Awesome. Javi, I struggle with interactions. I learned something new today. Today is a good day. Great. I think that's all I needed. One person. Javi, you have been helped, and now I'm good. No, it was a success. Dale Jensen, really informative to watch this build. Thank you, Joe. Yes. Silver Proof, 1969. Why would you not do the line breaks? You know what? That's a good question. Because line breaks are just not the most efficient way to. It's when you do the line break. Oh, right. You know what? I don't actually have a really good answer for you. From my understanding, it's just not the right way to do it. I like to use a combination of max width, of size, custom max width to really make it happen. So maybe this is not managed by container small, but maybe each one of these has its own max width to make sure that it fits perfectly. The line breaks, I don't remember the technical purpose, the technical reason, but yeah, I don't think it's the best. I wish I had a better answer than that live, but that's all I have for you. Okay, I think that's it. If you found value in this stream, please give it a thumbs up. If you're here watching and you learned something, give it that thumbs up. Yeah, okay, James, there we go. This is nailed it. If you had line breaks on mobile, it would be a nightmare. Yes, when you do a line break, it's like hard coding something into the text element that you just can't change at different responsive levels. So maybe the line break is perfect right here, but it just doesn't, I mean, you can't have this, right, with just two on the line. You always want the text to flow over. So I like to use a combination of the size of the text with the max width to just make sure that it fits how the design says it is. And you can see that on this Apple site, it doesn't seem like there's any line breaks, in a sense that there's not enough, that the available space is always being filled up. So if this was let's make it perfect and exact, I bet if we followed the exact size of the text with the exact size of the max width, this section would be perfect. And that if I was building a real site, a site for a client, that's what I would do. If I was just doing whatever, messing around, maybe it doesn't matter. But James nailed it. That's the exact reason. For people who have not been following my live builds, this has been my return to building in Webflow. I started live builds like 3 weeks ago, maybe. And before that, the last full project I built was 2 years ago. So sometimes I do these things and I don't remember the exact purpose. So James, really appreciate you coming in here and helping with that answer. But I'm gaining it back fast. I'm excited. I think Client First is really helping me just be able to build things without worrying about little specific problems. Because that core structure, I think Client First nails the core structure. And as long as you know the simple basics of HTML and CSS, you can design a lot of things inside that core structure. So great. that's the end of the stream, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and I will release this as a clonable. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Speed build challenge. You should be there. Speed build challenge. It is on the Webflow YouTube channel. So go check that out. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.